Hey guys, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW video with the WWE in 2021. You join us for our big event of the summer, the Mixed Match Challenge. We will obviously have a host of our male superstars teaming up with female superstars to see who is the greatest tandem. Now, last year we had the winning team of The Miz and Dana Brooke, so they will not be competing this year. I'll be explaining the video on the Miz's side. Of course, Dana Brooke is on maternity leave, so she will not enter. So before we crack on, as always, thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch the video. It's much appreciated. Any comments on the series, on your own series as well, how you're getting on with your own saves, TW in general, wrestling in general, please leave them in the comments section. Likes, subs, etc. are all appreciated. Keeps you tuned in for weekly TW content. So without further ado, we'll crack on. This is the Mixed Match Challenge 2021. So we're in Texas at the Alma Dome, 61,957 in attendance. Pre-show match starts the show. Basically, our main eventers who didn't make the cut, effectively. It was a pre-show match that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as we saw Jey Uso, The Miz, Randy Orton, Andreas Cien Almas and Braun Strowman pick up the win over Adam Cole, Chad Gable, John Cena, Johnny Gargano and Rusev, when Almas picked up the handful of attacks with a victory over John Cena. Basically, there was a little thing backstage between Almas and John Cena. Cena was actually not wanting to put him over, but the crackling of Randy Orton's knuckles made him do the job here. We can see John is quite off his game, and the weak link as well does not help because his physical decline has really hampered his performances. This led to the B81, as you can see here, a lot of 90 performances, 80s, John Cena are way down on the 70s, but a few skill improvements for some of our younger athletes, which is good to see. But it is the heels who pick up the win on the pre-show. So start the show with last year's champion, The Miz. It just says it was pretty awesome to be the inaugural winner of the Mixed Match Challenge, him and Dana Brooke picking up that victory. But he says, it just feels like this year it's time for someone else to get a chance, and of course with the Dana Brooke being away on maternity leave, he wouldn't feel right, defending that championship without such a strong woman by his side. Of course, Dana Brooke has been absolutely unreal in this save in terms of her skill set developing and getting over. So A90 for that, and that gets the show off to a strong start and gets the crowd hotter. Now, just to let you know, that's the first of 27 segments. This goes all the way from our last 16 through to the final, so quite a lot of matches to get through. So we'll try and make it quite snappy if we can. First round. Decent matchup. Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch defeat the team of Kofi Kingston and AJ Lee in 9:40 when Sami defeats Kofi with the Helluva Kick. AJ the weak link here. But a solid B80. Kofi and AJ didn't work as a team, so thankfully they're out in the first round. But it is the last kicker and Sami Zayn who progressed. Two great performances from them, which also got the crowd hotter. AJ with a few improvements as well, which is good to see. And also in the first round, a decent match saw Tommaso Ciampa and Sarah Logan defeat Dean Ambrose and Liv Morgan, so two teammates against each other there, in 10:36 when Tommaso defeated Ambrose with Project Ciampa. Disappointingly, Ciampa off his game, but him and Ambrose were far better than the women counterparts, but then again, were very well. So very much two work in progresses, and to be honest, with the age of them, they are very young still. There's a lot of room for to get into the heights we want to get them to. But B78 means it will be Sami and Becky taking on Tommaso and Sarah Logan. The reason for the lower rating, of course, because there is no storyline attached to it. Because it's all heels in this match, we want more heels in the bracket than faces. And storytelling match, plus Dean was not wanting to put Tommaso over, and I thought it was a good opportunity to, give him a good victory. After the matchup, they may have fought each other, but it just shows that the Only Live Once team aren't going to split up. They're all on the same page, and they shake hands and laugh at the crowd, basically, who thought they were going to split. So B78 there. Next up is a matchup between the Scots and Australasia, I suppose. A decent matchup though sees Drew and Nikki Cross defeat Okada and the talented Rhea Ripley in 13:37 when Okada was counted out while fighting Drew. So they get the win just to know more over Okada. It protects him to an extent. Nikki Cross was the weak link, but a B81's pretty decent there. You can see there performance-wise. Nikki's obviously put a lot of people over, which is good to her credit. As I say, it's reflected in Rhea being so over. Again, the two guys are at a completely different level, so good on them. So that'll be Drew and Nikki progressing to the second round. Next up, we've got Seth Rollins and Toni Storm. These two are going to be in the same team. Just a little hype video of them, talking over strategy and how they can make a deep run in this tournament. That's an A90 segment. And their matchup sees them take on Baron Corbin and Ruby Riott. And Seth and Toni win in 14-18 when Toni Storm defeats Ruby Riott. Corbin carries the match, although what I will say with this B80, he only carries this match because there was absolutely zero chemistry for Seth and Toni, and Seth was off his game. So I think if those two are on their game, easily a mid-70 performance for Toni. Seen Seth up in those high 80s, low 90s, so he'd certainly be up there. Just a bad day at the office for the Architect, but he does pick up the win with Toni Storm, and they will advance to the second round. Next up, it was a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. We saw the team of Sasha Banks and Samoa Joe defeat Jey Uso and Mia Yim in 1921 when Samoa Joe gets the upper hand on Jey Uso with the Super Muscle Buster, not just the normal one, a super one. But a good match up there. Is obviously a good feud going on between Jey Uso and Samoa Joe, and I felt like it was a good opportunity to put them up against two talented females as well. They don't look out of place there. And yeah, it's the team of Sasha and Joe who kick on, and really, if that is a hot associated storyline attached to it, probably hits the 90s. Next up, a decent matchup. A storyline involved in it, which just seemed to struggle completely. It was Kota Ibushi and Bayley defeating Kenny Omega and Asuka in 1828 when Kota defeated Kenny with 6:30 senton. Ibushi still head and shoulders above everyone else as we try and push Kenny on. Disappointing this only get a B-75. The storyline loses a lot of heat with that. Few skill improvements. It's just, Kenny's not very good in this. Sometimes I wonder if it's maybe worth bunking his stats up a little bit to get a true reflection on who Kenny Omega really is in real life, like so good. But see, we'll carry on, we'll see if we can plug him through, and then we'll move a little vote in the comment section. If you guys feel it's something we should do, or if we just keep it to the data we're given, which, if that's the choice, we'll stick to it. So let us know what you think of that. But Kota and Bayley advance to the quarter-finals, last 8 quarter-finals. And after the matchup, Kenny Omega has a temper tantrum, so he's pissed off, he's lost, and that got a B+, 84. Then we've got a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The team of Daniel Bryan and Charlotte defeating the Velveteen Dream and Alexa Bliss in 1506 when Charlotte defeated Alexa with a roll-up, Alexa the weak link. Actually, really good performances all round there. I mean, Alexa's getting a 71, and that's apparently poor, but it just shows the level that Bryan, Charlotte, and the Velveteen Dream are on. Does only get a B-76. Now, of course, that's going to be because of a lack of the associated hot storyline. You're obviously going to see that a lot because a lot of matches are just put together, which is why the first round matches, as I say, it's a shame big talents are getting lesser rated matches, but it happens in this kind of environment. I don't mind, as I say, as long as the main matches draw, that's it. And we know the end there's a basis at this if a storyline is attached to steal the show. So that's a negative, and as always is Daniel Bryan's declining physical ability, but Daniel Bryan and Charlotte advanced to the last 8. We then have a hype video for Ronda Rousey, which gets a C61. She's going to be entering with Kevin Owens as her tag team partner. She's reeled back from her suspension, she's overcame her problems, and now she's ready to kick some ass in the WWE. And her opening match is a decent matchup which sees KO and Ronda Rousey pick up the win on Bo Dallas and Paige in 11:53 when Ronda makes Paige submit with the armbar. KO carried the matchup. Disappointing that Bo Dallas and Paige didn't work as a team, so that hampered their performance. That probably would have led to an 80 performance for Paige. Bo maybe just off the 90s. KO steals the show, good win and a good matchup. As I say, good gain of overness, hopefully, for Ronda, defeating someone like Paige. Into the second round we go. So about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Sammy and Becky defeated Tommaso and Sarah Logan at 11:59 when Becky Lynch defeated Sarah Logan by submission. BAE's pretty good there again, that'll be because of a short matchup, 12 minutes, and no storyline. But you can see Becky with 92 performance really benefiting for these high pressure situations, which really will boost her overness up, which was already at a high level. Ciampa doing well as well. And as you'll see here, negatives, short match. But that puts Becky Lynch and Sami Zayn into the semi-finals. We then have a promo from Drew McIntyre. He says he stole the Intercontinental Championship from Seth, and now he's going to show the world that he's going to put him out here, and it just he's a better man than Seth Rollins ever will be. So that's an 889. Match itself, of course, didn't do as well as it should have. Realistically, this match would draw an A if it wasn't for obviously the zero chemistry between Seth and Tony. Obviously, I don't know that beforehand, so it's going to affect the storyline between Drew and Seth, so I'll need to pick that up after this show. But regardless, Drew and Nikki pick up the win in 1946 with Drew cheating to pick up the win. Because of obviously the zero chemistry, again, Tony Storm and Seth Rollins' in-ring performance is hampered massively, meaning that it looks like Drew carried it. It's one of those things, B79, you learn as the tournament goes on. Just thankful we didn't make Seth and Tony the winners. Overall, Scotland are into the semi-finals, which gives us Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch against Drew McIntyre and Nikki Cross on that side of the draw. On the other side of the draw, a good wrestling matchup with decent reaction saw the team of Kota Ibushi and Bayley progress to the semi-finals, defeating Samoa Joe and Sasha Banks in 11:39 when Ibushi defeated Samoa Joe with a sit-out powerbomb. B79 again, that'll be because of a cap matchup, but three good performances there. Bayley just a wee bit short. But again, she's maybe someone that could benefit from this tournament, booking decisions, because Joe, for some reason, didn't want to put Ibushi over, so we had to keep him strong. And the final participant in the Final Four about the had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Kevin Owens and Ronda Rousey defeated Daniel Bryan and Charlotte in 14:46 when Kevin Owens defeated Daniel Bryan with a handful of the tights. So a B79, Daniel Bryan was off his game. The 4 good performances, Ronda's really coming strong. As I gave her stats a little bit of a boost when she came back for suspension. Nothing major, it was just really on the basis of giving her psychology, because her performances in real life certainly show that she shouldn't be as shit as she was in this mod, which is cool because this was like 2 years before she'd even debuted in the WWE, now it was even a serious proposition. But considering she's carrying people like Nia Jax to good matches, I felt like, yeah, we'll give her a little boost and make it a bit more realistic. But again, this match will suffer because of a lack of associated storyline cap matchup. But interestingly, this was World Champion versus World Champion as well. But yeah, it's decent. As I say, it doesn't need to do great ratings because of where it is on the card. So next up, Sami and Becky are back, and they are cutting a promo on Nikki Cross and Drew McIntyre, a B+88, as they look to cement their place in the final. And the match itself has good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and Sami and Becky progress to the final, defeating Drew McIntyre and Nikki Cross in 14:23, with another victory for Becky via submission. So a weak link again is Nikki Cross. Not as good performance as last time, but fatigue will certainly be playing a factor with Becky and with Sami. What I'll need to remember as well is a lot of these people won't feature on Raw tomorrow because they'll be knackered. So yeah, I need to look out for that as well. But thankfully, Becky, the women won't fight again until Saturday, so this should be fine. The men, it's really just people of Raw. The SmackDown people should hopefully be fine. But the B80 again reflected by a short match and being fatigued. So there you go. And yeah, Becky's still got one more match to go. Then, before our other semi-final, Kenny Omega after his temper tantrum earlier on, decides enough is enough, gets Kota Ibushi backstage, and he beats the shit out of him. So that's at 89. Storyline advances. Ibushi was fantastic. But what does this mean for the team of Kota Ibushi and Bayley for their semi-final? Well, they still participate, but it's a short matchup that has good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as KO and Ronda book their place in the final, defeating Ibushi and Bayley in 9:26 when Owens puts away Ibushi with a package pile driver. Great performances again by Ibushi and Owens in 96 and 98, so the wins and the momentum they're gaining has certainly helped them as the course of the night has went on. But I think it was maybe a bit obvious from the start. The storyline is clearly Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and yeah, hopefully that draws a good rating in the main event. Few improvements there, obviously a little negative. Ronda fatigued, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into to Becky and Ronda in the final. So, co-main event, we just obviously need to get some other main eventers on the card, so we're going to have a fatal 4-way match for the WWE Tag Team titles. Dev and Anderson hype up this match, A92, just Fergal Devitt being as cocky as ever. The match itself, A93, perfect. Decent matchup, it saw Fergal and Carroll defeat the Masters of Wrestling, the Young Bucks and the Revival, in 20 minutes and 1 second, when Fergal Devitt defeats Scott Dawson with the Shingata's Prince's Throne. Fergal Devitt and Carol Anderson make the 5th defence of the WWE Tag Team titles, and in terms of in-ring work, Fergal Devitt was head and shoulders above everyone else with a fantastic 100 rating because of that excellent chemistry between him and the Machine Gun. But overall, good opportunity and a good bit of a showcase for the likes of the Revival, who've maybe not had that much of a push recently, and the Masters of Wrestling as well. But you see that everyone was over a 70 rated performance, bar Scott Dawson. I'm going to assume now that he's capped because every time he wrestles, probably won't be this instance, but he always gains 2 stats. So look, there you go. Regardless, Scott Dawson always will improve in technical and performance every match he's done. So I don't know if it's a bug, but it's just saying that and he isn't really. But yeah, Scott Dawson just doesn't seem to get over. Which is shit. Few negatives there, but it's just declining physical ability and inconsistency. And the road agent was the Big Show. There you go. Little things. So we hype up our main event then, Kevin Owens just saying, Sami Zayn, go away, you're annoying, you tried to win Money in the Bank, you lost, I won, I cashed in, I'm the champion, hoo hoo hoo. Usual Kevin Owens type promo on Sami Zayn. 894 Rivals to the End storyline continues. KO comes out looking good and getting better at his gimmick. How will the main event go down? Because we can get 2 fatigued ladies in this. Very well. It was a good matchup, and it saw Kevin Owens and Ronda Rousey defeat Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch in 25-27 when Kevin Owens hit Sami Zayn with a steel chair and picked up the win. Kevin Owens and Ronda Rousey win the WWE Mixed Match Challenge. So overall, built to a story over the course of the show. We had the big storyline of KO versus Sami Zayn. You obviously had the Ibushi and Omega stuff. You had a little bit with Seth and Drew as well. So I'm quite happy with that. And A93 just shows that the ladies are certainly capable of getting to that level. Let's no lie about it. If they're not fatigued, then Ronda's in the 80s with that performance and Becky's in the 90s. So that could have been probably even higher. Because you'll see here, Becky Lynch fatigued, Ronda Rousey fatigued. But strange they suffer with fatigue, but not Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And I say that because, I mean, Ronda Rousey's an MMA fighter. She's trained to go at least 25 minutes, you know, if need be. And I'm sure her cardio is absolutely unbelievable. So it's one of those things in the mod. But at the end of the day, still a great matchup. And we end the show with Kevin Owens and Ronda celebrating. KO comes across looking well. Excellent even to an A90. And we finish the show with a fantastic A91 where Ronda Rousey was slightly overused. But at the end of the day, I still think that's a successful mixed match challenge, and I think people you need to just say is Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and we'll go Bayley. We'll go with the women in this one. Will be praised for the great performances. they had. So we'll cut it back to the main screen. Reason being, I just want to see how it's dictated any sort of overness. As I say, you might even Ronda Rousey back as a megastar. Same could be said to Becky Lynch, could be ridiculous levels. So we'll get a good indication, and we'll see how financially good or bad the last month was as well. As Jack Swagger looks at us with a cheeky grin. Oh, and we get a little boost of a thing to add in as well. The Wrestler of the Years so far. So we'll go through that quickly as well. So quite a lot of things to cover. Tanahashi is in pole position to take Wrestler of the Year. Of course, the Nuso won it last year. Company of the Year is us at the moment. Team of the Year, El Generico and Sami Zayn. Well, they won't be teaming anymore. So it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Threw me off there when it said El Generico and Kevin Steen. Match of the Year is Daniel Bryan versus Fergal Devitt at WrestleMania 37. Show of the Year, WrestleMania 37. Young Wrestler, Kachoro. Veteran Wrestler, Genkai Horiguchi. Female Wrestler, one of the best female wrestlers in the world, I'm sorry, but please just push Becky Lynch in real life, WWE, but good to see Becky's at that level. Independent Wrestler of the Year, Goldust, or Dustin Rhodes. CM Punk's sitting with an injury with a fully ruptured biceps tendon. And the show got fantastic reviews. And I just want to check this. DG are in crisis. Dragon Gate. Might I sell it? They won't. It's just interesting because they've got Punk. They have a few guys that have wrestled for us. Shingo Tage, Daisuke Sekimoto. They've got, who else have they got in there? I thought they had a lot more American names. Roderick Strong's in there. Chuck Taylor, Sami Callihan, GTG. Get Hayato Jr. Fujia, who used to wrestle for us as well. So quite a few. If we look here, national battles, first in the US, first in Canada, first in Mexico, and first in Japan. That's good then, meaning that losing Roman hasn't affected us too much. MCW is available, so it's a new company. Bailey's got the grilling schedule, Tony Storm's got the grilling schedule, and that's just two of the ladies that had not even all the way at the final. A 45.37 on the network. Page likes Alexa Bliss. Interesting. So what you'll see here is people who are really struggling will be on top of the people already are Becky Lynch, Nikki Cross and Ronda. I expect they'll be fine by the time we get to the Women's Revolution show. As I say, they've got the full week to get there. So let's just quickly check. We'll just check creative meetings. So you can see there Okada's not the main guy now with Ambrose, Devitt and Orton. So basically he's just replaced where Roman was. So let's just check. It'll be mostly just main eventers I'll be checking here. So people who got far in the tournament, Becky, 89 over, so she's probably had a little bit of a gain there. Popularity spike. Yeah, well, she's not went up by much, by 4. Between 2 and 4 in most places. She was really over to start with, but yeah, she's been an absolute star with her solid booking. Who else went quite far? Bryan's down in 83, so he wasn't booked greatly. Ambrose is still at a decent level. Virgil 94, because he's still reigning as champion. Drew's up to 92, 94, so really, he's probably ahead of the IC title. That feud with Seth has certainly got him back up to that top level. So he's in a good position. As on Devitt, the two of those are, well, Jay struggled a lot more than Jimmy. Cena, as I say, we're going to phase down. Okada could be a bit better, so we're hoping the feud with Ambrose can take him there. Kevin Owens is a rock effectively with this overness levels. So the feud, basically, if you book somebody that's highly over a lot of times in the one show and they keep winning, they keep building momentum, they get a massive boost. So don't get me wrong, he was fairly over, always has been, with that tag team storyline with Sami Zayn, but you can see there, 100s, 97s, he is effectively the rock at this moment in time. It's always a good thing about these tournaments because you can book someone to be super over. So Ibushi at 94 at a good level. Sami probably took a massive knock because of it, so you get the other side as well. So you say he's never really been that much over, to be fair, even though he was team with Kevin. But let's be honest, if he gets one shock win over Kevin Owens, some of that overness and pop moves over to Sami Zayn. He's a three-time champion, four-time champion. Let's have a look. It's all his PWG. Under my tutelage, he's had 3 World Heavyweight reigns, WWE Tag Team reign that he had for a year, Money in the Bank, and I've given him 3 Intercontinental titles as well. So I've certainly given him a lot of title opportunities. Joe's a little bit of a drop, so is Seth, but he's put over Drew. The likes of Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins can easily make it back up, so I don't worry about them too much. Strickland's not really noticeable. The Miz is a bit poop, which is not good because there's big plans for him. Ciampa's at a good spot. The Dream's at a good spot. Zack Sabre Jr. We're trying to phase him down to maybe IC because there's not a lot for him in the main event. So last thing I want to check is obviously a few of the other ladies that took part in the show. So it's just really going to be the ones that really got far. So Bayley, it's just not over. Holy shit, 50. Wow. She actually dropped overness quite considerably in that there. Ugh. I'd have thought with that run there by Ibushi she would have gained, but no, down by 6. So Bayley's someone that she's certainly dropped a good bit. Obviously I've not been pushing her greatly, so let's expect big things with her. She is of course the Shine Tag Team Champion alongside Charlotte, but still not good enough at all. Becky we saw 89, Charlotte 78, so she dropped off a little bit with that there, but she's been putting people over because again she's someone that can get to that high level. And as I say, you get a couple that go really far over in terms of overness, and then you have to try and drag the rest to them, which results in it becoming a bit more balanced. So hopefully she can get back to where she was. Dana had been putting people over before maternity leave. Liv Morgan 64. Mia Yim, who's had a few wins recently, just shy of the 70 mark. Nikki Cross has, I think, continually been at the 63s if we check her pop. Track the progress. Yep, she's maybe dropped a little bit by putting people over, but still at a fairly good level. And Nikki's only 30 in game, so she's plenty of time to get back up. Paige is at the 70s as well. Ronda 73s. I was kind of hoping we get her a bit better than that, but she's barely been used in this save. But you can see there just the effects of the tournament is getting her 11-12 pop. So if we can keep getting her wins, I mean, realistically, if I booked her undefeated and made her win the title at Mania, she'd be a 90. Quite convinced of that. But she's barely been used. She's just back from a suspension, and hopefully we can use her like she's been used in real life. Other people to look at: Sasha, Serena Deeb, one of her agents. Oh, she's had a massive decline in that. She was up there at B83s at one point, a drop of 20 since February. I have been using her a lot to put Becky over, admittedly, so it might be time to start getting aboard the boss train and possibly get her some victories to get her back up there. And the only other one I'd say that's maybe a decent amount, Rhea Ripley's not really done a lot. It's been like slow victories, but 24, 61 over, plenty of time for her. Toni Storm's another one. She's now 30, but we've got her up to the 70s. As I say, she's pretty much in contention for a big push as well going forward. We have given her mostly victories. We check her match history, 23 wins to 5 losses, so she is certainly someone that's getting a push going forward. And in terms of popularity, you can see there for the start of the year, maybe not gained a lot, but we'll keep getting our victories. And I think a few times these ladies will probably need to appear on pay-per-views just to get their overness up a bit more, because the Women's Revolution will just get them to a certain level. Anyway, it's a long ass video, but yeah, as always, I hope you enjoyed the show. I mean, it was really fun to book. I always like doing these kind of tournaments because I say it just adds up, and it's trying to work out brackets round about it where you can have storylines working as well to ensure you don't lose any pop, and you can try and benefit some superstars, i.e. Kevin Owens has benefited massively. So that's it for this episode. I've already done the shout outs, so the only other thing I can add is check out the other bookers on the Fantasy Booker subreddit, the Grey Dog Software forums, and in the Bookers and FMers section as well. And hopefully I will see you next week for the next pay-per-view, which I believe is 3 weeks time in game, 2 weeks time in game, sorry, and is Battleground, and that is for the Raw brand. So that's fine. I get 2 weeks to go and book that, and hopefully you guys join me for what should be an epic fight in the Battleground. That was horrible. But cheers, see you later.